The fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from heaven to the earth. So that original spirituality, if you like, your Christ consciousness that's now in the body, it's gone down into the body. And he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit to open everything, all the repressions and the negative stuff that's in your subconscious mind. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke of the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given authority like the authority of scorpions on the earth. Now locusts obviously are voracious eaters. They're the destroyers of crops, so they're going to attack, and they've been given authority. Now, given authority, i.e. God's in control of this. He knows what's going on, knows what he's doing. Bring it up, cleanse it, you're strong, I've protected you. It'll be hard to go through, but the rewards at the end will be, unimaginable. And locusts buzz, and they swarm, and they annoy, and they eat day and night, and cause such pain. So that imagery is really powerful. And scorpions, they have a sting in the tail. They were told not to damage the grass of the earth or any green growth of any tree, which is again the essence of new nature, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were allowed to torture them for 5 months, but not to kill them. So it's just, you're going to be plagued by regrets and guilt and, belief that you're unworthy and illness and all of these things. But it's for a short period of time. And their torture was like the torture of a scorpion when it stings someone. It lasts, it hurts, it burns. And in those days, people will seek death but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. Now this, again, I was talking about autobiographical. This reminds me so much of when I got to the point of suicide. Everything was going wrong in my life. I could not make anything work, no matter how hard I tried. And I remember screaming out to God, I didn't even believe in God at that time. But like, God, help me. I'm trying to be a good person. I work hard. I look after my son. I'm doing everything you ask me to do. What do I need to do to make this work? I wanted to die. If it wasn't for my son, I would have probably committed suicide. And that really keyed with me, that line. I would have given anything to escape. But there was something inside me that told me not to do it. Think about your son. Think about your family. That's that spiritual voice, isn't it? So, really hang on, endure, it'll be okay. In appearance, the locusts were like horses equipped for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold, i.e. looks like they've got authority over you. Their faces were like human faces. So again, I think that's alluding to, it's going to look like other people are the problem in your life. Their hair like women's hair, again, alluding to Jezebel, or later on the great whore, temptress, deceit, things like that. And their teeth like lion's teeth. Again, the lion, the primal, the ferocious, the predator. They had scales like iron on their breastplates, Well, breastplates are protective, so it's going to look like you can't battle against them. There's nothing that you can do to hurt them. And the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots, with horses rushing into battle. On and on and on it goes at you. How bad I am, I've done wrong, what's wrong with me, what I haven't got. It's on and on and on, all of the time. That's how I felt. They have tails like scorpions with stingers, and in their tails is their power to harm people for 5 months. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. So the spiritual energy of your subconscious mind. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon. And when I looked that up, those names mean the despoiler, the warhammer, the tormentor. That's your own ego. The first woe has passed, but there are still 2 woes to come. So that was really hard to get through. But somehow God managed to keep me on the earth, and God managed to convince me in some way that things would change. Then the 6th angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." The Euphrates was the gateway to the promised land in the Old Testament. So those 4 angels that we heard about, the earth, wind, the fire and the water, that have been held back, are now about to be released. So the 4 angels were released, who had been held ready for the hour, the day, the month and the year, i.e. when you are strong enough, when you are ready and able to cope, to kill 1/3 of humankind. The number of the troops of the cavalry, here's that number again, were 200 million. Now 200 is the number, the spiritual meaning of 200, the numerology, is divine protection. So there's a cavalry of 200 million sources of divine protection, if you like. And I heard their number, and this was how I saw the horses in my vision. The riders wore breastplates the colour of fire, red, and of sapphire, blue, and of sulphur, yellow. Primal colours, but the colours of the root, the solar plexus, and the throat. So remember, the red and the yellow create the orange of the sacral. The blue and the yellow create the green of the heart. And this was how I saw the horses in my vision. The riders wore breastplates the colour of fire, of sulphur, and of sapphire, and the heads of the horses were like lions' heads, ferocious, courageous. And the fire and the smoke and the sulphur came out of their mouths. One of the things that I realised a few years ago was, once I'd got to a certain place spiritually, my problems were not how I behaved in the world, but what I thought and what I said. I would say the wrong thing, or I would be doing the wrong thing because I thought something else was happening or whatever. And so I think this is alluding to this. You know, it's often what our thoughts, because remember, words, what you say is actually expressed thoughts. It's what we think and what we say that causes us more problems than actually what we're physically doing, or they're the cause, and what you physically do is the effect. You can't change an effect, as the Course in Miracles is always saying. You can only change a cause. So I think it's alluding to that. And by these 3 plagues, 1/3 of humankind was killed by their fire and smoke and sulphur coming out of their mouths. For the power of the horses is in their mouths and their tails. Their tails are like serpents having heads. So again, this is alluding to a head, the mind, the thoughts, and what is coming out of their mouths. So the thoughts, the words, the deeds. And with them they inflict harm. And this day and age especially, words have become like such weapons, or our fear of words as weapons. You know, if you call me what I might consider to be called a racist name, or a slur on my sexuality, or you don't like the way I describe you, or, you know, words now can get you into serious trouble. Words now can be just as damaging as if I took a sword and slain you. I can slay you with my mouth. And a lot of my hurt and pain from childhood came not from what my parents did to me, but from what they said to me and about me. And so when I think about, you know, my childhood and how, you know, what my parents told me, they used to believe that you had to laugh at yourself, so they would take the mickey out of us as small children, and that for what they thought was, again, we don't know what we're doing, what they thought was to make us strong, to be able to laugh at ourselves, only actually was seeding huge areas of self-doubt and self-hatred about the way we looked or what we were, etc., etc. So I think that's what that's alluding to. The rest of the humankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands. So the rest, what wasn't cleared by God, if you like, and cleansed, had choice then to be corrected or to correct itself, and didn't do it. So the rest of humankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, or give up worshipping demons or idols of gold and silver and bronze and stone and wood, which cannot see and cannot hear and walk, i.e. the things of the external life. And they did not repent of their murders or their sorceries or their fornications or their thefts. So we didn't repent of our behaviours and our actions. So again, you see that the woes, those woes that are given to us, are for our own good. They're a cleansing. They're going to lead to rebirth, to reconnection with the Christ consciousness. This is a book of hope. This is a story of hope, of bringing us home. And you've got to go through the fires of transformation to get home, but it's for your own good. And the prize at the end, again, is just unimaginable. And I should have said, chapter 9, end of cycle in numerology, which is really poignant for that chapter.